Welcome back to the CCA Workbench, where we're going to obviously communicate now about. Yeah, I knew I would get you on that.
Communicate now.
About new products.
Let's talk about new product stuff.
Okay, give it to me.
Well, first off, I've got these new AFTCO gloves. They're the Solmar UV gloves, and what they're made for is to keep the sun off your hands. I travel a lot to some really blistering hot places in Costa Rica and Guatemala, and Central Florida is one of them, you know, in the summertime especially. And our hands take a beating. Our hands are always in the sun if you're not going to wear a pair of gloves. And you know, you can take a look at what happens to your hands over the years. If you
I could have used these.
You could have used these. You could have used them, and I've been wearing them ever since, you know, they came out. So I like to keep my hands nice and soft. But anyway, these are really cool because they got, you know, the fingers open at the top, so you can still do stuff. You know, you can still tie knots or whatever you need to do. It's got a nice palm. There's a pad in there, so if you're pulling on the flats or something, it adds a little bit of bulk to it, so your hands aren't clamped down tight on the pole. It's got a really nice, real slim fit elastic cuff on the back, so you know if you wanted to wire a fish, you don't really have to worry about the leader getting caught on there.
Right.
And they also have this special little grip stuff inside, and
I
gives
think
you a little better
they'll make
grip.
a good polling glove. I'm gonna try.
They're
it.
a good polling glove. I wear them all day. I even wire sailfish and stuff in them. They probably wouldn't recommend you do that, but if you're using 80-pound leader, this is plenty big enough to bust that. It's also got this little part here, little fleece guard on the side in case you want to wipe some sweat. It's a super absorbent little place. You might want to do it 2 or 3 times, but then never again. Anyway, what's really cool is they have a really little size chart on the thing when you come to the store to get a pair. You put your hand up there and it'll tell you which size to get, which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Me, it says ladies 10.
Yeah, you got little hands.
Yeah, I do have little hands.
But anyway, that's the Solmar AFTCO UV gloves. And then next we got these crazy cobia jigs. Now feel this thing.
What?
Yeah, you think it's going to be real heavy, but it's from New Concept Lures, and it's called a hybrid plastic jig. And it's called a crazy cobia jig, really is the name of it. But it's got rattles inside. If you shake that thing, it's got little tiny rattles in it.
Oh, I hear that.
Yeah, they call it the core lock hybrid stuff that they make it out of. I guess there's some lead in it and plastic mixed together. But they have a 9/0 double strength hook in there, so you know if you hook a big cobia, it's going to stay on there.
Is offset.
Yeah,
Dave.
that's an offset one. That thing's going to catch you somewhere in there, boy. I tell you.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I love cobias, and that's a really good. They come in a lot of different colors, and they always use the swirl pattern. They try to make them look a little
Now, why
better
would you
in the
want
water.
to create a light cobia jig versus a heavy one?
Mainly, forgot to mention that. It was the most important thing. You know, it'll do a slower spiral when you get it in the water. A lot of times you'll throw a big heavy jig like that, and if you're in deep water, that sucker's heading straight to the bottom. The cobia's got a haul butt to go get it.
Right.
You know, this thing sinks a little slower in a circle and stays in that strike zone a little faster, and you can see him actually eat it. And when you can see the fish eat the jig, you have a lot better chance of hooking it. Yeah. If it goes out of view, you'll still hook a few, obviously.
More enticing.
Exactly, but when you can see it, you're doing a lot better. Now these things here, these are the Starbright shooters, and what they are, it's an enzyme for fuel treatment, and they have 2 different ones here. One is a concentrated, I think that's the little super concentrated is the one with the blue cap, right? Yep. And that's for up to 25 gallons. And the other one's a single tank. They call it the single tank fuel tank virgin, 1 tank formula, and it'll do 6 gallons. Blue is concentrate, red is only for 6. The good thing is you can't overdose, so it doesn't really matter. You know, you can put that whole concentrate.
So you can give them a double shot.
Yeah, you can give them a double shot if you want. But you know, it's a great stuff. It restores power, keeps your stuff inside clean, your engine clean inside, and also takes care of any ethanol problems if you have ethanol gas. But you just saw the commercial that was just on. This thing, they just ran a commercial for this same lure here. It's the Rapala Shadow Wrap Shad. And that thing, I got it about, I don't know, a month ago. They sent a bunch of fellas one to play with before it came out, and I've loved it. I love shad imitators. Where I fish for bass all the time where I live, and I'm throwing that thing all the time for shad. It also looks just like a little baby mullet. So I'm sure it'll crush the redfish. I haven't really
Or a
thrown
pi-
it in salt
or a
water much.
pilcher, you
Or
know.
a little pilcher, any white bait. It looks like a little tiny white bait.
Yeah.
It actually looks like a little baby snook. But man, it is working. I tell you, the thing about it is, like they show on that show, it's almost neutrally buoyant. It's got a little bit of buoyancy. So when you cast it, it'll dig down a little bit, and when you stop, it'll just go real
I know,
slow
it comes
up
back
to the top.
up like this.
Yeah.
And in saltwater, Dave, it'll actually sit on the surface until you twitch it.
Right.
And then the lip takes over and makes it.
Right, it's a good jerk, man. You jerk bait, it'll jerk, and then you stop, and it'll just do that little slow thing, and pow, they'll nail it. I fished it in a bass tournament. I didn't do very well in the tournament, but the only thing I caught fish on was this. So I love it. It's a really cool thing.
30 seconds.
Oh, we
you
got
can
30
give me-
seconds to do these. These are the really cool rod holders. The rod runner. I didn't think we were going
rod
to get to
runner.
them. Yeah, this one will hold 5 rods. And this one will hold 3, and it'll hold rods and reels, and you can put either a conventional or spinning reel. All these holders come off, so you can put, if you have all 5 spinners you want to take, or
And it's
4
light.
conventional. It's
It's
very light.
unbelievable
and,
light.
And these little sticks come off, and stow up here, so you can carry it all when you want to. But what's really cool about it is I have a short bed pickup truck, and when I'm using long rods, I don't like folding them up in the back.
Right.
These things give them that little bit of elevation, so when you put them down in the back of the truck, they stick out over the top of the bed, so you don't have to get them all messed up. And the rod runners, these things are really cool.
Speaking of elevating, you've elevated your game over here at the workbench, and I want to tell you I appreciate that very much.
Anytime.